Emmanuel Macron addresses Congress in a rousing speech yesterday. The French president made the case for staying in the Iran nuclear deal, saying that the U.S. and France can work together to forge a more comprehensive agreement that ultimately President Trump can come to accept.
As for Iran, our objective is clear. Iran shall never possess any nuclear weapons. Not now, not in 5 years, not in 10 years, never. This agreement may not address all concerns, but we should not abandon it without having something substantial and more substantial instead. That's my position.
But later in the day, when speaking with reporters, Macron conceded that he believes the president will exit the Iran deal, quote, for domestic reasons, and that, of course, the deadline is next month. Joining us now to talk about that is the member of the House Armed Services Committee, Democratic Congressman John Garamendi of California. Congressman, it's good to see you, and thanks so much for joining us.
Good to be with you.
So your take on both of these statements from the French president. We know that the president, President Trump, has until May 12th to decide whether or not to renew that Iran deal. Your takeaway?
He's right, and I hope he's wrong. He's absolutely right. We have to stay in it. The JCPOA gives us the very best opportunity we have to prevent Iran from ever having a nuclear weapon. Certainly for the next decade, probably the next 2 decades, that agreement will prevent them from having a nuclear weapon. The second point, will the president back away from it? I hope not. It would be a very, very serious mistake for a variety of reasons. One, it would pull the United States away from key partners, people that we absolutely have to work with if we're going to deal with Syria and Iran going into the future. So let's hope that he's right on the first issue, that the JCPOA does prevent Iran from having a nuclear weapon, and secondly, that he's wrong about what the president might do. I think the president will recognize the extraordinary risks to the position of the United States as a leader in this world.
Well, what about changing certain areas? I mean, isn't it true that there isn't enough opportunity to check whether or not they're being honest in terms of what they're doing with their nuclear capabilities? Are there fixes that the allies can put in place to change this deal so the president is more poised to stay in it?
Maria, you have a good point, but you're slightly off the target. The review of what Iran is doing, that is the checking their nuclear programs, that's in place. The problem is all of the other things that Iran is doing. The Hezbollah, the support that they're giving to Syria, the support for terrorism around the entire region. All of those things were not included in the Iran nuclear deal, and those indeed are problems. And the president is correct that that needs to be addressed. And certainly President Macron is also quite correct that we need to address those issues. But that doesn't mean that we drop or exit the nuclear deal, which actually is working, and the reviews by the international agencies as to what is happening in Iran are quite good. They are very incursive into Iran. So that's not the problem. The problem is on the other things that Iran is doing beyond the nuclear.